Hi, this is Dave Johnston with Day Trade the Markets, and today is Thursday, May the 8th, 2014. The blue line, I've put this blue line in manually. Everything else is, of course, from the software. I'm with Day Trade the Markets, and we had an earlier dip in an up move, which occurred over here, as you can see earlier in the day, and then we rejected, and prior to that, the market had a good run up. The 80 or so area had been a barrier, and you can see that, well, you can't see here, but earlier in the day it struggled there and then finally broke through, and we did reach up to 84 here. Now the reason for this trade is that this dip that we had here earlier, I would think it would probably get tested at some point during the day, and we have tested. It's come down. That low over here was 1878. We just hit 1875.75, and I'm just going to stretch out this chart a little bit here. Let's see a little bit more detail as to why I've got my buy stop in at 78. Oftentimes when we have overlapping level 3 bars, and that's this magenta bar over here, and these other two magenta bars are the strongest aggressive selling bars that we have in our software. We call them a level 3. And the level 2 is right here, which is a red bar. And the strongest buying is a blue, which is over here. You can see an example of that. And the level 1 buying, or the cyan or light blue, we don't have any level 2 buying that's showing right now. So that's really what I'm thinking right now. So on this particular trade, long at 78, obviously I want to put in a sell stop. I'm going to put just one tick immediately below here, and hopefully adjust that fairly soon. But what we often find is when we have an overlapping area, and I'll show you right here, you can see where these two magenta bars have overlapped, and I'm just going to extend it here. So this is what we call a sweet spot. So this is kind of a sweet spot here in the in this sell-off, in that this is where they overlap. So this is why my order was one tick above. Now, obviously, I want to see it move higher, and I don't want to see it move down below. I'm giving this maybe more room than I would like to. It's at 76, so that's 2.25 points. I'm just going to leave that for a moment, and as soon as we can get above this sweet zone high, which is at 75.75, then I'll go ahead and make the adjustment and move the stop up. But for right now, this particular trade has allowed me to get into a long trade, which is what I've been looking to do today, on the heels of on the heels of rejection of selling. We haven't totally had that yet. I've jumped on this somewhat early. Usually we'll wait until at least one of these aggression bars has their high taken out. It did have its high taken out by one tick, but certainly not this other one. So fairly aggressive on the entry, but that's sometimes what you have to do in order to get, fairly good trade entry location. So if we can get a little bit of a bounce here, I will move the stop to a tick below the low of this sweet spot right here, which is at a price of 76.75, and I'll adjust it up to 76.50. We are long right now from 78 even. So that's really what I'm looking at here today. And now, as far as exit on this, what I usually like to do, just as kind of a relatively conservative MO, is to go for approximately 1 to 2 point profit on the first objective. Now, obviously, we've had some pretty good selling in here. I would say a wave of selling, starting with this level 2 selling bar. It did have its high taken up, but ever so briefly, and then we had continued selling down here. So this is a wave of selling with the high of it right here at 79.75. So I've got my order at 79.50. That's maybe squeezing a bit too much. I'm going to drop it just one tick, and have my sell limit for half of the position at a 1.25 profit on this one at 79.25. We're long from 78. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust that stop right now that it's started to move at least somewhat in our favor. We'll see what we can get here. And now the 1.25, obviously not a great amount, but if the market can get up, hit the 79.25, make a 1.25, then I've got, in essence, a break-even stop overall on the trade with the sell stop down here at 76.50. That's a 1.5. The profit's only a 1.25, so pretty much the same. Obviously at that time, if the market should rally up and fill me at 79.25, I will adjust this stop down to just 2 contracts and not 4. But for the time being, I'm somewhat aggressive in this trade because to get really true rejection of these lower prices, you really would have to see the market move above the pair of these 2 consecutive level 3 bars. So I just put that blue line, this blue line here, signifying that you really don't have rejection of the selling until you can get above here. So I've entered this trade somewhat aggressively. It has been a good day up, and the move off the high today, it's been pretty good. It's kind of picked up a bit of steam here just when it went and made those lows, which can oftentimes suggest an exhaustion on the part of the seller. So somewhat aggressive with the entry here, but we'll let it go for a few more minutes. We've been in this trade 5 minutes or so. We'll just let it continue to move and see what we get. So in the interest of not having this video too long, I'll put the recording on pause and get back to it as market dictates. Okay, I've started the recording back up. You can see the market did have a bit of a dip here. It came into our sweet spot area and has now turned around. It's right at the high of the first magenta selling bar. That's a level 3 selling bar. So I'm expecting it to at least poke its head above there and get us filled for our 1.25 objective on half the position, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So it keeps hitting on our price. Hopefully we'll get filled here momentarily, and I can put the video back on pause again. Okay, well you can see what's going on. I'll pause it right here. Okay, just started it back up just a minute or so later. You can see it hit our price here. We did get filled. So now as you can see, we're only long half the position here. Just in this example, 2 trades, or 2 contracts, I should say. So obviously I need to reduce this down to 2. I did put in an order up here at 81 as the next likely structural target. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep following that. I'm going to, this little dip that we had here down to 77, we have our stop here at 76.50. I'm just going to move it up, I think just below our sweet spot, 1 tick below it. So we're just risking 2 ticks now on this trade. So we'll just leave it like that. And I will pause the video right now and restart it as market conditions dictate. Okay, I restarted the video back up again. It's pulled in again. It's right back down to our entry. Got a pretty tight stop in here, just a 2-tick risk on the second half of the position. So I was really obviously hoping that the move up here would attract some buying and get a little bit more of a lift. It's done just the opposite. So we do not yet have acceptance above the this wave of selling, which is formed by these two level 3 selling bars. So it may not be quite ready to move higher, in which case we'll get stopped. We'll still have a profit overall in the trade, but we'll have made 10 ticks and lost 4. So it's still a profitable trade, but not something that we're really excited about. But anyway, I just wanted to restart the video here. By the way, our email is right here. If any questions, comments, and so forth, you can get a hold of us at info@daytradethemarkets.com. So the stop, as I said, is just a tick below the top of that so-called sweet zone that we like. This blue square area or rectangle that I've manually put in. I've manually put in this blue line and this blue line as reference areas. Everything else on the chart that you see is produced in real time by the Day Trade the Market software. So anyway, just wanted to restart the video there because we're getting down to getting stopped out, and now you can see this bar that just came in is a selling deceleration bar because it has this triangle below it. So it means that the amount of selling that came in, amount of aggressive selling that came in, has been reduced from the previous bar, which is what we like to see, which means it might attract some buying. It doesn't necessarily mean that, and it certainly doesn't mean it if its high doesn't get taken out. That's how we look at it. So okay, well, there we go. We got stopped on that. So anyway, this was an attempt to get long on a rejection of this support area that we had from earlier in the day. We did make a little bit on the trade, not much. But it was an attempt to identify a good support area in an up market, and then to see if some rejection would come in on the part of the attempt by the sellers to push it lower. In other words, a rejection of the attempt by those sellers when the buyers come in to move it higher, which it did to some degree. But as I said a moment ago, we did not get the full movement that I really wanted to see up above here, up above that this blue horizontal line. We just had a probe above it, which is another reason why I had our first objective just a tick above there. So we don't really have a true rejection, at least the way we look at it, of this attempt to sell lower until the market can trade above in this oval area, which is above the high of that the pair of these two level 3 aggressive selling bars, the most aggressive selling bars that we have. So I'll just pause it there for a moment just to give you a rundown on the actual summary of that trade. We entered 4, so we exited 2 at 1.25 points for a total of 2.5 points, and then we got stopped for a loss of half a point, which is 1 point. So you subtract the 1 from the 250 and you get to 150. So our net was 150, 1.5 points on that trade. I should actually correct that and just make that into a, that's a minus. That's a minus. Just in case you wanted to make sure that you're following here. So anyway, that's that for this trade, and we'll see if perhaps this kind of rejection at these lower prices it may come in as another test, perhaps, of this dip here before it wants to move up, or it might not be able to at all, and then we could have another leg down. So kind of up in the air at the moment, but this is our attempt on this trade. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.